Hello, my dear students. Today I am going to discuss about civil disobedience movement. But before we start the class, let us try to focus on some important points of the previous portion. The Simon Commission arrived in India in 1928. It was greeted with the slogan, "Go back, Simon." All parties, including the Congress and the Muslim League, participated in the demonstration. So, the Lord Irwin announced in October 1929 Dominion status for India and in a roundtable conference to discuss a future constitution. Lahore session of Congress under the presidency of Nehru formalized the demand of Purna Swaraj or full independence for India. It was declared that 26th January 1930 would be celebrated as the Independence Day, when people were to take a pledge to struggle for complete independence. But the celebration attracted very little attention, so Mahatma Gandhi had to find a way to relate this abstract idea of freedom to more concrete issue of everyday life. The Salt March and the Civil Disobedience Movement. Mahatma Gandhi found in Salt March a powerful symbol to unite the nation. On 31st January 1930, he sent a letter to Viceroy stating 11 demands: prohibition of liquor and intoxication, release of political prisoners, change the exchange ratio between the rupee and sterling, reduce rate of land revenue, reduce expenditure on civil administration, impose custom duty on foreign cloth, accept the postal reservation bill, abolish the CID department, reduce the military expenditure, abolition of salt tax, issue licenses of firearms to citizens. So the idea was to make the demands wide-ranging so that all classes within Indian society could identify with them and everyone could be brought together in a united campaign. The most stirring of all was the demands to abolish salt tax. The tax on salt and the government monopoly over its production, Mahatma Gandhi declared, revealed the most oppressive phase of British rule. Mahatma Gandhi's letter was, in a way, an ultimatum. Its demands were not fulfilled by March. The letter stated the Congress would launch a civil disobedience campaign. Now Mahatma Gandhi started his famous civil disobedience movement, accompanied by 78 of his trusted volunteers. The march was over 240 miles from Gandhiji's ashram in Sabarmati to Dandi. The volunteers walked for 24 days, about 10 miles a day. Thousands came to hear Mahatma Gandhi wherever he stopped, and he told them what he meant by Swaraj and urged them to defy peacefully the British. On 6th April, he reached Dundee and violated the law, manufacturing salt by boiling seawater. It marked the beginning of civil disobedience movement. So now question arises, how was this movement different from the non-cooperation movement? So non-cooperation movement, here the people were asked not to cooperate with the government, but on the other hand, civil disobedience movement, people were asked to break the colonial laws. And in non-cooperation movement, foreign goods were boycotted. On the other hand, the countrymen broke the salt law. In non-cooperation movement, liquor shops were picketed. On the other hand, peasants here refused to pay revenue and chowkidari tax. In non-cooperation movement, foreign shops were burnt in heap. But in civil disobedience movement, village officials resigned from their jobs. In non-cooperation movement, many places, merchants and traders refused to trade on foreign goods or finance foreign trade. Forest people violated forest rules and laws. In non-cooperation movement, students left government schools and colleges and lawyers gave up legal practices. So what were the reactions of the British, and after that Gandhiji decided to call up civil disobedience movement? The colonial government began to arrest the Congress leaders one by one. This led to violent clashes in many places. Abdul Ghaffar Khan was arrested in April 1930. Angry crowd demonstrated in the street of Peshawar, facing military cars and police firing, and many were killed. A month later, when Mahatma Gandhi himself was arrested, industrial workers in Solapur attacked police station, municipal buildings, law courts, and railway stations. British government now responded with a policy of brutal repression. They arrested satyagrahis. Women and children were beaten, and about 10 lakhs people were arrested. Mahatma Gandhi once again decided to call off the movement and entered into a pact with Arvind on 5th March 1931. So according to Gandhi-Arvind Pact, Mahatma Gandhi decided to participate in a roundtable conference. The government agreed to release political prisoners. In December 1931, Gandhi went to London for conference, but the negotiation broke down and returned to India. In India, he discovered that the government had already started a new cycle of repression, so he was very depressed. Ghaffar Khan and Jawaharlal Nehru were both in jail. Congress had been declared illegal. A series of measures had been imposed to prevent meeting and demonstrations and boycotts. Mahatma Gandhi relaunched the civil disobedience movement, but it lost its momentum by 1934. So dear students, from the above discussion, what we have learned? 11 demands of Gandhiji. Mahatma Gandhi started his famous Dandi March along with his volunteers. It was started from Sabarmati to Dandi. On 6th April, he reached Dandi. Programs of Congress, British repressive measures, Gandhi called off civil disobedience movement, Gandhi-Arvind Pact, then second roundtable conference, then Gandhiji again relaunch of civil disobedience movement. Thank you, students.